Well folks, summer's over. You can put away the swim trunks and pull out the sweaters because we're diving into a flavor as familiar as a crisp autumn day, pumpkin spice. Now you might think you know pumpkin spice, but we're taking a trip down to Miami, where the flavors are bold and the coffee is strong. Get ready to spice up your life Miami style, because we're about to brew up 5 unique pumpkin spice latte recipes. We're talking classic comforts with a tropical twist, bold coffee fusions, and even some guilt-free indulgences. And the best part? You can make them all at home. So grab your beans, your spices, and maybe a little sunscreen because it's about to get hot in the kitchen. Let's get brewing. First things first, the building blocks of flavor. Every good culinary creation starts with a solid foundation. And for our Miami Pumpkin Spice Latte, that means starting with the building blocks of flavor pumpkin puree. Not that artificial stuff, but the real deal. We're talking about pure, unadulterated pumpkin. You can use canned, but if you're feeling adventurous, roast your own. That's right, we're not cutting corners here. We're going for maximum flavor, and that starts with the pumpkin. Next up, our spice blend. We're going with cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and a touch of allspice. Now I'm talking freshly ground spices here, people. Pre-ground spices are like that friend who's always late to the party. They just don't bring the same energy. Finally, the sweetener. We're using maple syrup for its rich, caramel-like flavor, but feel free to experiment with agave or even brown sugar if that's your jam. Just remember, balance is key. We're not making pumpkin candy here. Next step, brewing the perfect base. Now for the coffee. We're going with a strong brew, something that can stand up to all those bold flavors. A Cuban coffee would be perfect, but a good dark roast will do just fine. We're looking for about 2 shots of espresso or 4 ounces of strongly brewed coffee. The goal is to create a base that's both flavorful and robust, something that can hold its own against the pumpkin spice symphony we're about to create. Once you've got your coffee brewed, it's time to heat up the milk. We're using whole milk for its creamy texture, but you can substitute with your milk of choice. Almond, soy, oat, even coconut milk would work well here. Just remember, the type of milk you choose will affect the final flavor profile of your latte. So feel free to experiment and find what works best for your taste buds. Third step, assembling the Miami magic. Now comes the fun part, putting it all together. In a saucepan over medium heat, combine your pumpkin puree, spices, and sweetener. Cook for about 5 minutes, stirring constantly, until the mixture is fragrant and bubbly. This is where the magic happens, folks. The heat helps to bloom the spices, releasing their full flavor potential. You should be able to smell the warm, inviting aroma of pumpkin spice filling your kitchen. Next, add your brewed coffee and milk to the saucepan. Using an immersion blender or a regular blender, blend everything together until smooth and frothy. This is key to achieving that signature latte texture. Now, pour your Miami Pumpkin Spice Latte into your favorite mug, top with whipped cream and a sprinkle of cinnamon, and get ready to experience pumpkin spice like never before. First Miami recipe, embracing the tropics. All right, folks, now that you've got the classic Miami Pumpkin Spice Latte under your belt, let's shake things up a bit. We're heading to the tropics with this next recipe, our Coconut Milk Pumpkin Spice Latte. Now, I know what you're thinking, coconut and pumpkin, but trust me on this one. The subtle sweetness of coconut milk complements the warm spices of pumpkin pie spice beautifully, creating a flavor combination that will transport you straight to a beachside hammock in South Beach. First things first, we need to swap out the regular milk for some coconut milk. Now you can use canned coconut milk, but I prefer to use the refrigerated kind. It has a lighter, more delicate flavor that won't overpower the other ingredients. And don't even think about using that sweetened coconut milk stuff. We're going for natural sweetness here, folks. Besides, we'll be adding our own sweetener later on. Pay attention here, balancing the flavors. Now, because coconut milk is naturally sweet, we're going to dial back the maple syrup just a tad. We don't want our latte to taste like a dessert, but rather a balanced and refreshing beverage. Start with half the amount of maple syrup you used in the classic recipe and adjust to taste. Remember, you can always add more sweetener later, but you can't take it out. Next, we're going to add a pinch of salt to our spice blend. Now, before you go thinking I've lost my mind, hear me out. Salt enhances the natural sweetness of the coconut milk and pumpkin, creating a more complex and well-rounded flavor profile. Trust me, it's a culinary trick that will have your taste buds singing. Next step, blending and serving. With our ingredients prepped and ready to go, it's time to fire up the blender. Combine your coconut milk, pumpkin puree, spices, sweetener, and a pinch of salt in a blender and blend until smooth and frothy. Now, if you want to get really fancy, you can toast some shredded coconut and sprinkle it on top of your latte for an extra layer of flavor and texture. But even without the toasted coconut, this latte is a real treat. The coconut milk adds a creamy, tropical twist to the classic pumpkin spice flavor, making it the perfect beverage to enjoy on a warm autumn day. So sit back, relax, and let the flavors of Miami transport you to paradise. Second Miami recipe, the underpinnings of Cuban coffee. So, you think you know coffee, huh? You've brewed your basic drip, maybe even dabbled in French press. But have you ever wrestled with the potent elixir that is Cuban coffee? We're not talking just any old bean juice here. Cuban coffee, or Café Cubano, is a cultural institution, a ritual, a flavor that will knock your socks off and then darn them back up just to say hola. At its heart, it's espresso brewed with the addition of azucar, a raw sugar that's whipped into a frenzy with the first few drops of espresso. This creates a espuma, a creamy, caramel-like foam that sits atop the coffee, adding a layer of sweetness and texture that's pure magic. So today we're going to pay homage to this Cuban tradition, but with a fall twist. Get ready to spice things up Miami style. Next step, the pumpkin spice injection. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stefini, are you really about to put pumpkin spice in a perfectly good Cuban coffee? And my answer is, you bet your sweet café con leche I am. But we're not going to bulldoze this delicate flavor profile, we're going to be surgical in our approach. First, we'll whip up our pumpkin spice blend. We're talking cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and a touch of allspice. The key here is freshness. If your spices have been sitting in the back of your pantry since the Clinton administration, it's time for an upgrade. Remember, spices are volatile. They lose their potency over time. Using fresh spices will make a world of difference in the final flavor of your latte. Next step, the fusion dance. All right, it's time to bring this fusion fantasy to life. We'll start by brewing our Cuban coffee, espuma and all. While that's happening, we'll gently warm our milk of choice. I prefer almond milk for its nutty undertones that complement the coffee, but feel free to use whatever you like. Once the milk is warm, add a tablespoon of pumpkin spice blend, or more depending on your spice tolerance, and whisk vigorously. You want to create a smooth, homogeneous mixture. Now the moment of truth. Pour your freshly brewed Cuban coffee into a mug, leaving a bit of room at the top. Gently pour the spiced milk over the coffee, allowing the espuma to mingle with the flavors. And there you have it, a Cuban coffee pumpkin spice latte, a testament to the power of cultural fusion and the delicious possibilities that emerge when you dare to experiment. Third Miami recipe, almond milk, the body. Now, some folks shy away from dairy, and that's okay. We've got a recipe for that. Almond milk brings its own unique character to the party. See, unlike cow's milk, which is basically watered-down ice cream, almond milk is more of a suspension. What's a suspension? It's what happens when you convince tiny bits of one thing to hang out in another thing without, touching. Think of it like a culinary mosh pit. Almond milk's got this awesome nutty flavor that plays really well with pumpkin spice. It's also naturally a bit sweeter than your average dairy milk, so you might want to dial back on the sugar a tad. But the real beauty of almond milk is that it's plant-based, which means our vegan friends can join the pumpkin spice party too. And that's what I call a win-win, folks. First things first, the science of vegan whipping cream. One of the biggest challenges with vegan baking, or vegan anything really, is getting that same richness and texture you get from dairy. It's a quest for that perfect mouthfeel and flavor that makes you forget you're missing out on traditional ingredients. Whipped cream is no exception. It's a staple in many desserts and beverages, adding that luxurious, creamy finish we all crave. But don't despair, my friends, because science has our back. With a bit of creativity and understanding of food chemistry, we can achieve that same delightful texture. See, traditional whipped cream gets its fluffiness from the fat molecules in heavy cream. These fat molecules are essential for creating the structure and stability of the whipped cream. When you whip it, those fat molecules get all tangled up and trap air, creating those beautiful, billowy peaks. It's a delicate balance of air and fat that gives whipped cream its signature texture. Almond milk, on the other hand, is naturally pretty low in fat. This makes it challenging to achieve the same results as with dairy cream. That's where a little ingenuity comes in. By thinking outside the box, we can find alternative ingredients that mimic the properties of dairy. We're going to use a combination of chilled full-fat coconut milk and a touch of cornstarch to mimic the texture of heavy cream. The coconut milk provides the necessary fat content, while the cornstarch helps to stabilize the mixture. The coconut milk provides the fat, while the cornstarch acts as a stabilizer, helping those precious air bubbles hold their shape. This combination ensures that our whipped cream is light, fluffy, and stable. And just like that, we've got ourselves a vegan whipped cream that's just begging to be piled high atop our almond milk pumpkin spice latte. It's a perfect example of how science and creativity can come together to create delicious plant-based alternatives. Next step, assembling the vegan delight. Now putting this all together is a breeze. With just a few simple steps, you'll have a delicious vegan pumpkin spice latte in no time. We're going to start by brewing a strong shot of espresso. This will be the heart of our latte, providing that rich, robust flavor we all love. Remember, espresso is the backbone of any good latte, so don't skimp on the quality here. Choose high-quality beans for the best results. While the espresso is brewing, heat your almond milk in a saucepan over medium heat, just until it's steaming. This will create a creamy base for our latte. You don't want to boil it, just give it a good warm hug. The goal is to get it hot enough to blend well with the espresso. Once the milk is nice and steamy, add in your pumpkin spice mixture, sugar to taste, and a pinch of salt to really make those flavors sing. The salt enhances the sweetness and spice. Whisk it all together until it's smooth and the sugar is dissolved. This ensures a consistent flavor throughout your latte. Now pour that shot of espresso into your favorite mug. The aroma alone will be irresistible. Top it with your perfectly spiced almond milk, letting the flavors meld together beautifully. And finish it all off with a generous dollop of that homemade vegan whipped cream. This adds a delightful creamy texture. There you have it, a vegan pumpkin spice latte that's as delicious as it is compassionate. Enjoy every sip of this cozy autumn-inspired treat. Fourth Miami recipe, the unexpected guest. Now for all you chocolate fiends out there, I've got a real treat for you. We're taking our pumpkin spice latte on a trip to the dark side, the land of rich, decadent chocolate. Some might say that chocolate and pumpkin spice are an odd couple, but I say opposites attract. The warm, earthy spices of pumpkin spice play surprisingly well with the intense, bittersweet notes of dark chocolate. It's a match made in flavor heaven, folks. But we're not just dumping in any old chocolate here, we're going for quality. I recommend using a high-quality dark chocolate bar with at least 70% cacao. The higher the cacao content, the more complex and nuanced the flavor will be. Trust me on this one, folks. The chocolate adds a whole new dimension to the pumpkin spice latte experience. It's like taking your taste buds on a roller coaster ride through an autumnal wonderland. Next step, chocolate's crunchy cousin. Now, to really amp up the chocolate factor, we're going to introduce you to a little something called cocoa nibs. Now, cocoa nibs are basically the unsweetened, roasted bits of the cacao bean, and they pack a powerful punch of chocolate flavor. Think of cocoa nibs as chocolate's crunchy, slightly bitter cousin. They add a delightful textural element to our latte, as well as a deeper, more intense chocolate flavor. Plus, they're packed with antioxidants, so you can feel good about indulging. You can find cocoa nibs at most health food stores or online. Look for ones that are raw and organic for the best flavor and quality. Once you've got your hands on some cocoa nibs, give them a rough chop to break them down a bit. This will help release their flavor and make them easier to sprinkle on top of your latte. Fifth Miami recipe, the chocolate orange connection. Now, if you want to take your chocolate pumpkin spice latte to the next level, I've got a secret weapon for you, orange zest. This little addition can transform your drink into something truly extraordinary. Just a touch of orange zest adds a bright citrusy note that cuts through the richness of the chocolate and complements the warm spices beautifully. It's like adding a burst of sunshine to your cup. Think of it like this. Chocolate and orange are like the culinary equivalent of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. They dance together in perfect harmony, each enhancing the other's best qualities. They just work together in perfect harmony. The smooth, velvety chocolate paired with the zesty, vibrant orange creates a flavor profile that's both comforting and exciting. The orange zest adds a touch of elegance and sophistication to the latte, making it feel extra special. It's a simple addition, but it elevates the entire experience. To zest your orange, simply use a microplane or vegetable peeler to remove the outermost layer of the peel, avoiding the bitter white pith underneath. This ensures you get the pure, fragrant oils that give the zest its unique flavor. A little goes a long way here, so start with a small amount and add more to taste. You can always add more, but you can't take it out once it's in. Trust me folks, this chocolate orange pumpkin spice latte is the perfect way to warm up on a chilly autumn day. It's a delightful blend of flavors that will make you feel cozy and content. It's like a warm hug in a mug with a side of pure chocolate bliss. So next time you're in the mood for something special, give this combination a try. You won't be disappointed. Well, there you have it, folks. 5 Miami-inspired pumpkin spice latte recipes to spice up your fall. Whether you like it classic, tropical, vegan, or chocolatey, there's a pumpkin spice latte out there for everyone. So grab your ingredients, fire up those espresso machines, and get ready to experience the magic of pumpkin spice Miami style. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more delicious recipes. And let me know in the comments which pumpkin spice latte recipe is your favorite. For more amazing food and drinks tips and recipes, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you never miss an update from us. Tell us about your thoughts in the comments section. Check out our other videos for more culinary inspiration. We love you. Until next time, keep cooking, stay adventurous.